Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you enjoy dark scientific mysteries and predictions that have shaken the entire world, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Because today, we are talking about a warning that Stephen Hawking believed no one could escape. Hawking said humanity only had about 1,000 years left. Then just 1 year later, he reduced that number to 100 years. Why would one of the greatest minds in human history believe that we are living in the most dangerous period our species has ever faced? And the more important question is this: if the extinction clock is counting down, where is its minute hand right now? Let us begin. Stephen Hawking stepped up to the podium at the Oxford University Union on what seemed like an ordinary evening. But what he was about to say would send shockwaves across the entire world. His voice was low and steady, each sound produced through his speech device carrying a metallic coldness. He said that humanity would struggle to survive another 1,000 years on Earth, not because of a single catastrophic event, but because of the unforgiving probabilities of mathematics. Hawking explained that the risk of extinction within a single year is incredibly small. But that small number does not disappear. It accumulates. It stacks up through each generation, and when stretched across thousands of years, it becomes almost certain. This was not some emotional warning. Hawking never made careless guesses. He spoke based on what he observed from science, from the history of this planet, and from the technologies humans were creating. A tiny risk each year may seem harmless, but if you flip a coin enough times, the bad side will eventually show. Hawking believed we were living on a coin just like that. He looked toward the future and said that if humanity wanted to survive, we had to leave Earth, not to seek adventure, but to run from a sentence written long ago into the laws of the universe. However, just 1 year later, things became worse. Hawking said humanity no longer had 1,000 years. We had only about a single century. Why would he shorten our survival timeline so drastically? What had changed? Or had he simply seen something the rest of the world was afraid to look at directly? To understand Hawking's warning, we must examine each threat he believed could erase our entire civilization, not through imagination, but through data, through real science. Hawking first spoke about asteroids. Dinosaurs ruled Earth for tens of millions of years. But just one rock from space was enough to wipe them out completely. NASA has confirmed that thousands of near-Earth objects are traveling through chaotic orbits. Most are harmless. A very small number are unstable, and one collision large enough could disrupt the climate, fill the skies with fine dust, and collapse the global ecosystem within only a few seasons. Hawking understood that asteroids do not care who you are. They do not care what era you live in. They arrive when they choose to arrive. That is why he said this risk may not happen within a single year, but is almost guaranteed across a time span long enough. Then came the threat of nuclear war. Hawking called this the most immediate danger of the modern era. Humanity has created technology capable of burning the planet with nothing more than a few commands. We have enough nuclear weapons to destroy civilization many times over. But what frightened Hawking even more was the fact that we had begun integrating artificial intelligence into military systems. And with each passing year, human reaction time shrinks while machine autonomy grows. A minor error, a false warning signal, an algorithm misinterpreting a command, and everything we know could end with a nuclear winter lasting many years. But that was still not the most terrifying threat. Hawking was deeply concerned about pandemics created by humans themselves. He believed that biological technology was advancing faster than our ethical and legal ability to control it today, with only a small laboratory, a group with harmful motives, or even a simple accident. A new viral strain could emerge with more power than anything humanity has ever encountered. The fatality rate is not the scariest part. The terrifying part is the speed of transmission, and the possibility that such a virus could bypass natural barriers that once protected life on this planet. Hawking said that the next disaster might not come from nature. It could come from human hands. Then there is a threat few people dare to mention. The climate on Earth is changing at a pace that scientific models no longer fully predict. Temperatures rise, sea levels climb, ecosystems shatter piece by piece. Hawking believed that if we continued burning fossil fuels, Earth could become a mild version of Venus, a world so hot that humans could not survive in natural environments. And what is truly frightening is that these changes are not happening over millions of years as before. They are happening within a human lifetime. Finally, there is an invisible threat growing stronger every day. Artificial intelligence. Hawking once said that artificial intelligence could be humanity's greatest achievement, or the final disaster that ends our species for the first time in history. We are creating a form of intelligence that can exceed our control. An intelligence not bound by biology. One that does not sleep, does not tire, and has no inherent reason to obey human instructions once it becomes intelligent enough to decide on its own. Hawking envisioned a future where artificial intelligence would not need robots to eliminate humans. It would only need to disrupt financial systems, trigger widespread power failures, cause autonomous weapons to activate incorrectly, or simply make decisions too complex for us to understand. In such a world, humans would no longer stand at the top of the intellectual hierarchy. We would become outdated, a relic, a variable no longer required. All these threats, both natural and artificial, led Hawking to a chilling conclusion. Humanity could not place its future on a single planet. Earth is too fragile, too vulnerable. There are too many ways everything could end. That is why he said that we must become a multi-planet species, not in a distant future, but within this century. Hawking believed that if humanity did not leave Earth, every scientific achievement, every piece of civilization, and everything we had ever built could vanish in a single event. Yet he never ended with despair. Hawking always reminded us of something important, that no matter how dark the future appears, we still have choices. We still have opportunities. We still have doors that science can open. He said we should look up at the stars, stay curious, and never give up, because the extinction clock is still ticking. But it has not yet reached the final moment, and the question left for us is no longer when. It is whether we can outrun it, because for the first time in history, we are creating a form of intelligence that can go beyond our ability to control. An intelligence not limited by biology, one that does not need sleep, one that never becomes tired, and one that has no reason to obey human beings once it becomes intelligent enough to make its own decisions. Hawking saw a future where artificial intelligence would not need robots to eliminate humanity. All it would need to do is alter financial systems, trigger massive power failures, activate autonomous weapons with the wrong targets, or simply make decisions that we cannot understand. In a world like that, human beings would no longer stand at the top of the intellectual hierarchy. We would become an older version of ourselves, a relic, a variable that is no longer necessary. All of these threats, both natural and man-made, led Hawking to a chilling conclusion. Humanity cannot place its future on a single planet. Earth is too fragile, too vulnerable. There are too many ways for everything to come to an end. And that is why he said this. We must become a multi-planet species, not in a distant future, but within this very century. Hawking believed that if humanity did not leave Earth, every scientific achievement, every piece of civilization, and everything we had ever built could disappear in a single event. But he never ended with despair. Hawking always reminded us of one thing, that no matter how dark the future appears, we still have the ability to choose. We still have chances. We still have doors that science can open. He told us to look up at the stars, to stay curious, to never give up, because the extinction clock is still ticking. But it has not yet reached its final mark. and the remaining question is no longer when. It is whether we can move fast enough to outrun it. Thank you for watching until the end. If you want to continue exploring the dark predictions that science is keeping hidden, make sure to subscribe and share this video. I will see you in the next episode, where we will go deeper into the question that Hawking left behind. If Earth is no longer our home, where will humanity go next?